Welcome back to the Paranoid Perspective. I am Jake.
I'm Sarah.
Today, we're going to talk about something that is kind of creepy, kind of weird, kind of woo. I'm not like super into all of this, but I have definitely experienced this. So take that for what it is. I know it's not a whole lot, but it was kind of wild when I was a kid. But we're going to get into the insidious nature of astral projection
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I can't
Do you
believe you.
know anything about?
Um, I know some stuff, but I've never experienced it
Have
like
you-
you have, so
I was about to say, have you ever
I've
experienced it? Because
not.
I don't know, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like human beings, like understanding of consciousness isn't really that great.
Yeah.
We don't really know what it is. So some of this, like I said, guys, it's gonna get a little woo, a little out there. I'm not a wholehearted believer in this, but I have had some experiences and we'll get into that. But I kind of wanted to start off with kind of like a basis idea and then kind of there's some interesting things of like some different cultures
Mhm.
that have talked about astral projections. And I thought that'd be a good way to kind of work our way into this. And maybe, just maybe, I might have found an article on 11 steps on how you can astral project.
Now I could practice.
I know, right? But astral projection is also known as astral travel, soul journey, soul wandering, spiritual journey, spiritual travel, all the buzzwords. And it's just pretty much to describe an out of body experience. People like to put that into an acronym as OBE. That assumes the existence of a subtle body known as the astral body or the body of light. See, like I said, a lot of this I'm not like super into the woo, but
Yeah. It's branding, the branding of it.
it is. It really is, if we're being honest. But it's pretty much where your consciousness can function separately from your physical body and travel through the astral plane or the veil or whatever the buzzword marketing, like you said, word, you know, would be a part of it. But I mean, the idea of astral projection is pretty ancient and it occurs in a bunch of different cultures. The actual term astral projection wasn't coined and like really prominent until like the 19th century. So that's not something that's really ever been like a thing that's been said throughout history. It's been more of a recent kind of account.
Yeah.
But skeptics have usually chalked this up to hallucination. I can't talk. Words are hard. Oh my goodness. People that
Hallucinations. Yeah.
hallucinate. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Sarah.
Take
Jake can't
10.
speak. There we go. Yeah. Or, just like very vivid dreams or something like that. It's never been anything that there's not really like scientific evidence for this. So that's why I kind of don't like a lot of this because you get into those weirdos that are doing the woos. But
It could be one of those.
this goes all the it could be. I mean, I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, we don't really know about consciousness, so it's very easy to assume that yeah, if we can't see it, we can't touch it, we can't measure it, that doesn't exist. Which fair from a scientific mindset, but I don't know. I think there's something a little more to this. But let's get into some accounts of some different ancient cultures. Ancient Egyptians had a concept of a soul traveler. It appears in various different, religious examples for them. There was a teaching that the soul, called Ba in ancient Egyptian, was having the ability to hover outside of the physical body or their subtle body. So they had these rituals and stuff where probably some sort of psychedelic was involved,
Right.
most likely, to give you that,
That opens your
feeling
third
that you were.
eye.
That's true. And to be fair, I think, like, have you ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
Yeah.
So I really like that how, like when we were early hominids and we were going out and, the rainforest started receding in Africa and the plains started opening up, we started having to get different foods and whatnot. And one of those foods were mushrooms that were being grown, under cow patties and stuff like
Right.
that. And, having something like that, that might explain part of the reason why, our brain size, exploded in those early years of us. So it could have something to do with the psychedelic stuff. There's another one for the Amazon who believed you have the ability to perform a soul flight that can serve several functions such as healing, but pretty much you're flying out to consult with cosmological beings.
To
So,
get like more knowledge from them. Hmm.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Um Yeah, that's what I thought, and it was one of those things where when I was looking at different things like this, like, they're all different to, like, a little like, little variations, but they're all really similar. Like you're going outside of your body to gain something from somewhere else. You're not just going out there willy-nilly and just flying around, you know what I mean? Like you're interacting with other things, whether those are actual beings or whether it's a religious experience, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But one of them was for the Amazon people in particular, they would fly or I'm sorry, they would consult these cosmological beings, the moon or the brother of the moon, to obtain names for their newborn children.
For their children, okay. The brother
I
of the
mean,
moon? Who's is that the
I don't
dark
know what
side
that
of the
is.
moon?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I'm assuming here. I didn't do a whole lot of research into like each one of these
To
individual
give you
ones,
baby
but
names?
yeah, yeah. And then they would,
I'm gonna try that.
yeah. I mean, there were other ones where they would, go to different parts of like Earth itself,
Yeah.
supposedly for, you know, praying for like abundance of game or seeking the aids of other beings or something like that. There was a purpose behind whenever they would do this. It wasn't just like I said, they're just going out and doing whatever. There was a reasoning behind it, probably ceremonies and religious things, most likely psychedelics involved once again. So that's kind of where I think the common ground is with a lot of these. But then there are some Inuit groups, individuals with special capabilities. I cannot pronounce this word. It has a lot of K's and a few backwards letters. I do not know how to say it, so I'm going to do my best here. Engkakuli, I think. We're going to go with that.
Sounds good to me.
They said they were able, yeah, they said they were able to travel to remote places and report their experiences in important matters back to their community.
That's cool.
So it's almost like, yeah, they're leaving to go get helpful information for the tribe.
Yeah. Reconnaissance.
And these were, yeah, well,
They're spying.
but they were said to have the ability to, stop like bad luck and heal sick people. So
Hmm.
they weren't just, people that could astral project, like they had gifts that they could utilize through this astral projection. So, I mean, that's just a few examples. I found a couple other ones that were kind of interesting. There was one, here you go, Sarah. It was from Japan. It was a manifestation of a soul living in a person separately from their body. Traditionally, if someone holds a significant grudge against another person, it's believed that a part or the whole of the soul can temporarily leave their body and appear before the target to kind of like the
Right,
grudge
yeah.
thing. You know what
To
I
give them
mean?
a heart attack, like,
Right, right.
wow.
And now this was a little bit more
Yeah.
malicious. Most of these that I found were to gain knowledge or to help or something like this. This was one of the ones that I was like, "Oh wow, this is where the movie came from.
Yeah.
This is what they're talking about here." But yeah, that was kind of wild. That was really the only like really weird kind of mean one, I guess would be the best way to say it. But then, when we start getting into, more recent things, we've talked about how this didn't really become really prevalent until like the 19th century, but it even goes back a little bit further than that, more in Western culture to like medieval Renaissance era. They thought the astral body was an immediate body of light linking the rational soul to the physical body. I don't know why they said rational soul.
Your
I
mind?
think probably because, well, what I think I'm kind of getting at with this is that at that point in time, I think a lot of people were trying to get away from a lot of the old cultures and the old religious beliefs because you were starting to have like Christianity come in. And a lot of those older cultures did use psychedelics in their religious. So I think that might be why they said the rational soul. Like they're not doing any sort of extra curricular
Mhm.
activities to get this
Right,
done.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but then, these astral spheres, according to, those people in that medieval Renaissance area were, told to be populated by angels, demons, spirits. So we're getting into the part of where like Christianity is starting to kind of come in to the mainstream of all of that. So I thought it was kind of interesting to see that this isn't like a new thing. This has been pretty prevalent throughout most of human
Right,
history.
yeah.
And it kind of freaks me out a little bit though, because, you see those like cheesy movies like Insidious and whatnot, where, the boy astral projects and then he can't get back to his body. And then, there's a demon that has him, you
Right.
know, kept or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if that's really what you believe in and you are physically leaving your body, I mean, if that's what you believe, your body is just a shell at that point. Like you're not there. Like your body's there. It's like when you die,
Yeah.
your body's there, but you just have a husk of what used to be. So, I
Yeah, you
mean,
could get
I don't
taken
know.
over by some other thing
Yeah.
or your body, not you, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, yeah, but then where are you?
Then
You're
you're
in the
yeah, you're
void in the
stuck.
astral plane.
Right. You're just floating around. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But when we talk about like the different scientific stuff that I don't think a lot of people that are scientifically minded take this very seriously, if we're being honest, which I understand to that point because, if you can't see it, touch it, measure it, it's like I'm going off of hearsay here. I'm not going off of anything I can actually do. But, most scientists have, pretty much said that there is really no evidence, and it's an objective phenomenon if it exists. It's just in your mind that, you know, you're doing it. Now, that being said, I'm going to kind of go through a couple of my own
Yeah.
experiences that I've had with astral projection. And like I said, take this for what it is. I've chalked it up a few times to me literally just dreaming, and maybe it was just one of those weird things. I used to have those falling dreams all the time, though,
Yeah. Well, you're
and
actually dreaming, or it's just like the quick you fall and you like
no,
choke
no.
up.
Like, no, I would be dreaming, but every time I was about to wake up, like, I would always fall,
Mm.
and I would see my body at the bottom of whatever it was.
Uh,
Like, there was one where I wanna say I was, like I don't know, I was super young, like, all this happened, like, probably between, like, the ages of maybe 5 and 11, 12. Like, I was super young, but I still remember it, like, super vividly. I know there was one where I was, like, in a dune buggy or a go-kart or something, and it was like I was off, like, the Grand Canyon, it
mm.
seemed like, and I hit a rock and the dune buggy flipped, and I went over the edge, and as I was falling, I saw my body at the bottom of, like, the gorge or the
Okay.
whatever, and then when I hit the ground, like, I jolted up and then, "Oh, shit, I'm back in my
Right.
bed." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's one of the first ones that I really remember, and it was kinda weird. 'Cause seeing your body there, it didn't look like I wasn't, like, freaked out, like I was actually falling or anything like that. It's just like, "Oh, that's where I'm
Right.
at."
Yeah.
Like,
Here I
that's
come,
what
buddy.
that's yeah, that's what I was thinking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, it wasn't I never had, like, a scary experience for the most part
Yeah.
in those sorts of dreams. But, yeah, it would happen all the time, and then it got to the point I remember I started having these dreams, like, in that one specifically I was like, my body was in the desert, like, at the bottom of the gorge, like, that's what I saw. But then I would start to have these dreams where every time I would see my body, like, in my bed
Mm.
as I'm falling into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I remember there was one, I was sleeping on the couch at our old house in the living room, and I saw my body on the couch, So it wasn't always like these weird, like, "Oh, man, I'm, racing through the desert on a go-kart," it's really hard to explain because most of the dreams, like, I don't remember what I was doing. I just remember falling back into my body.
Yeah. Yeah, that
You know
is
what I mean?
weird.
So, the freakiest one that I can remember is, I got up to get, like, a glass of water or something, and listeners, for those of you obviously, nobody's gonna know this besides me and Sarah. In our old house, it was like my room, the living room, a short hallway, and then the kitchen. So I remember waking up to go get a glass of water. So I walked out of my room, walked through the living room, down that little short hallway, got a glass of water, came back down that hallway, back to the living room, and then I looked and I thought I was awake. I sincerely thought I was awake. I saw my body in bed with the door
Oh
open,
wow.
and I was just like, "Holy shit. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?"
Yeah.
And what started to freak me out was, have you ever passed out or anything?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, like when the walls start closing in on you?
Yeah.
So that's what started to happen. Like everything started to like get like tunnel vision.
Mhm.
And I legit was really freaked out by it. Like I didn't know what the fuck was happening because I'm seeing myself lay there. I'm thinking I'm awake, but I'm clearly not. And now all of a sudden the walls are closing in.
Yeah. That's ugh.
So I'm trying to walk back to my room, but like the distance keeps like
Mm.
growing between where I'm at and no matter like how fast I'm walking. And out of the darkness of these walls closing in, I would see these hands like doing like this.
Like, towards you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they wanna get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it was the most terrifying thing I've probably ever
Yeah.
experienced. And because like I couldn't get back over there
Right.
to like where I was
Yeah.
at. And I don't remember getting back to my body, but I remember like waking up and going into our parents' room and trying to be like, "Hey, this fucking crazy shit just started happening." But I'm like, 6 or 7. Parents are half asleep. They're like, "Oh, shut the fuck up and go to bed." You know what I mean? But yeah, that was probably the most like wild, crazy one
Yeah.
that I've ever experienced. And I don't know, like I said, most of the time when it happened, I would never be scared. That time I was fucking terrified.
Yeah. I mean, so you had more after that one, right?
Yep.
And you didn't
Mhm.
feel afraid like that, yeah.
No.
Well, that's good, at least.
No. Well, there was one, and I've told people about this, and I don't really know what to think about this one. Like I said, I'm not a huge believer in like the woo-woo shit, but I was playing at a playground, and I think I was in first or second grade, and I jumped off of like some monkey bars, and right when my feet left, I like shot over across the playground, and I saw myself jumping
Right.
like off of that thing. And the second my feet hit the ground, I was back where I was at.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So that one, I know for 100% I was definitely
Yeah.
awake. Like I was there. That was not a dream. I was at school. I was on the playground.
Mm.
So that one really, really freaked me out. Now, I mean, you could chalk that up to whatever kid with active imagination, which I know I had, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those
Yeah,
things. It still feels so real, you know?
right. Yeah, I think you need to practice.
So,
I think you could do it on demand.
I don't know if I want to,
Oh,
Sarah. I really don't know if I want
'cause it
to.
freaked you out?
Because I mean, it did, man. It did. And listeners, you guys should know too. I used to sleepwalk
Yeah.
all the time.
When
All
you
the
were
time.
outside, that was crazy.
Dude, I thought I was fucking abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
I thought I was fucking abducted aliens, man.
I mean, I'm not convinced that's not what happened.
I'm not either. I don't know though. Well, but see, that's the thing. And this is what's kind of freaks me out about like getting close to the veil and
Mhm.
whatnot. Like people like to say, like young kids or older people, they're closer to the veil. So, they experience things like that. I would only sleepwalk when I was like super sick, had a super high fever, and chalk it up to, a fever dream or whatever it is. But when I would sleepwalk, like you guys would see it. Mom and dad would definitely see me sleepwalking and be like, "What the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing?" You know? And that time I walked out of those 2 locked doors up front that were super loud. There
Right.
is no way
Yeah.
that nobody would have heard that, and just waking up in my boxers and a
Right.
blanket out in the middle of the winter in Indiana
Yeah,
looking at the
and the
sky.
doors were locked again, weren't they? Like, you locked yourself out.
No, so I didn't lock the doors.
Okay.
So I remember dad checked when, I came in from the back door. He was just like, "Yeah, like, I don't know how you got through these fucking doors because they are super loud." And we never used the front
Yeah.
door. We never used the front door because it was such a pain in the ass to get out
Yeah, it
of,
was.
you know?
Yep. And closing it again, I mean, because you closed it too
Well,
again.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I had the sense of mind while I was sleepwalking to very quietly, like unbelievably
Right.
quietly, unlock these
Yeah.
doors, shut them, and go just sleep by the, end of the driveway.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. But Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I've had some of those weird experiences, and I don't really know how to really chalk it up to that because is it real? I mean, to me, it definitely was. It definitely was real. But your mind is so powerful, and we don't really understand, like we said at the beginning, like consciousness and stuff. So
Yeah.
is it actually real, or is it just something that I'm thinking of and and that mind over matter thing, and I'm creating a world in my head, that I'm
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe you weren't really, maybe it's subconscious for you. I don't think you thought I'm gonna view myself jumping off the monkey bars or whatever. Like,
right, right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's one of those weird things. I've heard other stories about people that, can astral project and they do it willy-nilly. I'm not too inclined to believe that kind of
you could
stuff,
practice though and
because they
prove
talk
if it's true or not.
I could practice. Well, let's talk about how we can astral project then. Listeners, you guys can go ahead and get after this, man. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, but that's just me. So here we go. This is off of WikiHow. So
Great.
very good.
Yeah. The best source.
Very good. The best
Right.
source, the only source that we're going to use for this specifically. All right. So let's talk about preparing. So if we're going to learn how to astral project, it's better to understand astral projection before you start. So watch a lot of YouTube videos on a lot of dumb people. I'm just kidding. No, but it actually says try reading or watching other people's astral projection experiences. So
I guess. Okay.
there you go. You've got a handful from me, listeners. So there you go. That can be
Yeah.
your what you
I mean,
what you
would you
did.
call near-death experiences similar, or is that separate?
I don't know.
Because sometimes
I
they
don't
see
know
themselves
because
like being operated on or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, because that's what I think. Like at the beginning, I talked about like the out of body
Yeah.
experience is kind of what more mainstream people have started to coin that instead of astral projection. Because I feel like astral projection is too woo, and a lot of near death experience people have experienced a feeling of leaving their body. So I mean, it very well could be, but once again, is it just your brain like, oh shit, we're something bad is happening. I gotta do something to
Yeah.
make
You're trying to,
you
yeah,
feel
trying to
okay.
understand it or whatever. Yeah.
Right, right, when I don't think you're really capable of it. But we're also apparently for astral projection, you're supposed to start in the morning.
Mm.
So rather than practicing astral projection at night, because it's spooky and scary,
Right.
right? Right before you sleep, start in the morning hours when you're still feeling drowsy.
Mm.
Some say that it's easier to reach the necessary state of relaxation and heightened awareness around dawn. Yet it is possible to astral travel at any time. So there is no hard and fast rules, quote unquote.
I was like, I can't do it
So
at
do
dawn.
it.
That's not gonna work for
No, I
me.
will not be. I don't even want to get out of
Yeah, I
bed.
was
Okay.
like,
I'm not, and I don't have the
I'm gonna try
time.
it at 3 a.m. The witching hour.
Yeah, there you the witching
Yeah,
hour. Yeah. You might conjure up
I
some,
might get possessed.
you know, you
That's the
might,
next episode.
you know. Yeah, yeah, so we're gonna interview a demon, and Sarah's just gonna be sitting there looking crazy, foaming at the mouth with her black eyes and puking green stuff all night. So, and then you have to create the right atmosphere. You gotta have the ambiance, you gotta light some candles and romance yourself a little bit,
In the bubble
you know?
bath.
Yeah, there you go. The rose petals in the bubble bath. There you go. Astral projection requires a deep state of relaxation, so it should be performed in part of your home where you're completely comfortable. So don't be, where's a part that I don't know a part of my home I'm not completely comfortable in though. That doesn't make any
For
sense.
me,
Do people
probably the
have uncomfortable
bathtub.
spots of their home?
I hate
What's
yeah, for
okay,
me,
there
it's
you go.
probably don't take the bubble bath because that's so annoying.
I don't have time for all this shit. I just want to get
Yeah.
done. But yeah, that's getting prepared.
Okay.
Okay. So then you need to relax and lie down. Position yourself on your back or in your chosen room. Close your eyes and try to clear your mind of distracting thoughts. Good fucking luck, because man, I'm telling you, my mind is running a mile a minute all the
Yeah.
time on a bunch of
I mean,
bullshit.
this is just practicing Zen
I
at
feel
the
like when I
beginning.
was reading through this, it's like, dude, we're just
Yeah.
meditating here. Like, this is what this
Right.
is. Concentrate on your body and how it feels. The goal is to achieve a state of complete mind and body relaxation.
Okay.
So Flex your muscles, loosen them, start with your toes and work your way up. Yeah, typical meditation
Right.
stuff. Breathing deeply and exhale completely. Focus your mind on your breathing. Don't get carried away with your thoughts. Yada, 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 yada. Okay. All right. Now, moving the soul from the body. We're about to fucking get it, Sarah.
Yeah.
This is what you
Tell
have to
me.
do. Okay. So you have to reach this hypnotic state by doing everything we said before. This hypnotic state is normally known as hypnagogic, something like that. I don't know
I'm
that
not
word.
sure what you're trying to say.
I don't either.
Hypo
Me either. I'm fucking reading it and I
hypochondriac?
don't. Yes, thank you. There we go.
This
See,
cannot be a
that's why we have.
hypochondriac.
That's why we have coast. Maybe
That's
I
when you
don't know.
think you have a disease
I'm
and you
just.
don't.
Well, that's definitely not
Yeah.
it then. Your mind would not be at rest at that
Yeah, right.
point.
Yeah, you'd be anxious. Okay, I don't know.
uh, I'm sorry. Words are hard sometimes. So let your body and mind approach sleep, but don't completely lose consciousness. Being at the edge of wakefulness and sleep. In this hypnotic state, it is necessary for you to astral projection to occur. That's the only time apparently they can do that. We don't have any hard and fast rules on where you can be and be in a different room, but that, you know, you got to be right on the edge.
I mean, it's
Now, you keep well, hang on.
okay.
We're going to reach this state by using the following method. Okay.
Okay.
So
Guaranteed.
keeping your eyes guaranteed right here. Okay. Keeping your eyes closed, let your mind wander to a part of your body, such as your hand, foot, or a single toe. Focus on that body part until you can visualize it perfectly, even with your eyes closed. Continue focusing until all other thoughts fall away. Use your mind to flex your body part. Do not physically move it though. So just in your mind is what you're doing here.
Okay.
Like for instance, visualize your toes curling and uncurling or your fingers clenching and unclenching until it seems as though they are physically moving, but they're not. Don't be physically moving them.
Yeah, then you have to restart
Broaden your
if you
focus.
do that.
You do. And then, we're just not going to be bothered and you're probably just going to be falling asleep anyway. So broaden your focus on the rest of your body. Move your legs, your arms, your head, only using your mind. Once again, do not physically move these actual body parts. Keep your focus steady until you're able to move your whole body and your mind alone.
So it
So
is just
apparently that's what you have to do.
imagining.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well,
Fake it
and
till you make it, I
according to
guess.
this, you fake it till you make it. But apparently you enter into a state of vibration at that point. I love the state of vibration. Many report feeling vibrations, which comes in waves at different frequencies. I don't know how you would. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like where
Are
we're
we
going here.
always
I'm just
like in
trying.
a state of vibration?
Yeah, for
So
sure. But I
just the
think this
right
is supposed to
one.
be like, yeah, yeah. You got to get the right one because we live in the wrong ones all the time. That's why we can't astral
Yeah,
project.
of course.
But yeah, so they come in waves at different frequency as the soul prepares to leave the body. Do not be afraid of the vibrations,
Embrace
since
them.
the presence, yeah, embrace them. The presence of fear might cause you to leave your meditative state. Instead, succumb to the vibrations as your soul prepares to leave your body. Look, man, I don't
I'm gonna
know
become a
about all
wave.
that.
I mean, yeah, it kind of sounds like, is that it? I'm sorry. I feel like I kept interrupting.
No,
Oh,
there's
okay.
more to it, but no, you're fine. Listen, I'm not saying this doesn't work. I'm not saying, I had experiences, but at no point was I
You
trying
were
to have
naturally talented.
I just had that natural ability, man. Sucks to suck everybody that can't, you know. But here's the thing. If you truly believe that you can like leave your body and your soul detaches from your body, that in my mind, you know, me and you being raised Catholic, like that invites a lot of stuff that could potentially enter your body or potentially mess with you at that point, like your soul or your being, whatever your being outside of our physical world. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily believe in a lot of that, but on the off chance that I'm fucking wrong, I'd rather not, you know,
Yeah.
be trying to leave my body and do some weird stuff like that.
I mean, I feel like, well,
So,
the how to reminds me of like how to lucid dream because that's kind of similar. And a lot of people for
right.
lucid dreams, they say they come into contact with like things in their dreams that are like, once they know that they know they're dreaming, the thing is like, you can't be here anymore or whatever, or attacks them or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, the same thing has happened with people that have taken psychedelics. Like you'll interact with like a being while you're on psychedelics. And
Yeah.
is that just like you opening up and having an experience in your own mind, or are you physically seeing or experiencing like higher dimensional beings or
Right.
religious spiritual beings? Like, I don't know, man. The out of body experience thing is kind of weird, and I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit of that because the near death experience is kind of really, I think, kind of hand in hand with the astral projecting thing because a lot of people do have similar things that happen to them, not
Yeah.
intentional, like we talked about. Listeners, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm going to say I'm going to hold off on that. But it's just one of those weird things that there's so many unknowns with these near death experiences, and you have people that are not necessarily religious that have, some quite religious
Yeah.
experiences. So I don't know. There's a lot of common elements within, the near death experience stuff where there's like a sense of awareness. Like I was saying, like I would see my body. I knew, oh shit, I'm not there no more. And then, like I said, I never really felt scared. And with the near death experience stuff, like there's always like a sense of like peace or
Hmm.
well-being or painlessness or positive emotions, or possibly like an unconditional love or acceptance that they just like feel wash over
Yeah.
them. Now, we could chalk that up to just about anything, like I feel like when you're dying, your body and your mind especially is just like, we got to stop this. I'm trying to stay alive. I'm just going to flood you with endorphins and we're going to try to make this work. And I think that's part of it for sure. But are you familiar with a drug called DMT? So that's one of those chemicals that is produced in our brain. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong on this, but I'm almost positive that's one of the drugs that is released when you're about to die. And it's a very psychedelic, like people that have taken DMT, like talk about, wow, this like changed my entire world perspective and
Yeah.
my thought process. I interacted with beings and saw things that I would never have ever seen before. And it's kind of wild that that's actually produced in our brain. Like that drug is actually produced by
Right.
us.
Yeah.
Now, it's not in a high enough dose to where we could trip on it, but maybe that's when it is in a high enough dose when our body's just like, holy shit, we gotta
Right.
live. Well,
Yeah.
here's the DMT.
Yep.
Mainline it. Let's go.
Well, yeah. I mean, that could be. I feel like that kind of goes with what I think of anyway. Like the afterlife is kind of what you make it, I feel like. So if you're thinking you're going to
Yeah.
hell or something and then all that floods your mind, maybe you do go to hell. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Well, and see, that's the thing though. Like, I don't know, because you hear all these different stories about the near death experiences and even out of body experiences in general, where it's so individual. It's so relative to the person that I feel like you're really onto something with that, Sarah, because I don't think it's a one all be all sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever your perception of what it's going to be is what it's going to be,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
create your own reality, I guess.
Yeah. Or we're living in a simulation and this is just one of the things where they put in a cheat code and they're like, hey, let's fuck with these guys real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. That's possible too. Yeah. I mean, for astral, well, I was gonna ask, do you remember, maybe this has to do with your astral projection or something, or you were possessed or something, but do you remember, I don't know how old we were. You were probably like 12 or 13. We were on the trampoline of our neighbor's house, and then
Mhm.
you had your hand like attacked you. and then you had to hold it down, and I had to step on it on your hand. You
I don't
don't
remember
remember that?
that.
I was wondering if you were like joking with me, but it seemed like you were like this and you were like holding your hand back, and I had to like step on it and put both my feet on it, and then it like stopped.
I don't remember that at all. Holy shit.
Maybe
I had a crazier childhood than I
maybe
even
you're
remember.
possessed. Oh, I've always wondered that because I thought you were like joking. Because sometimes, you and especially Cody or like whatever, like when he pretended the holy
Yeah, I mean,
water burned him or whatever.
well,
But
yeah,
no,
that
it
was
was
just
just
kids
me
being
and
dumb.
you on the trampoline. So I was like, why would he fake this in front of like there's not an audience. But
Yeah, I don't remember that.
okay.
I mean, it very well could be. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I've had a lot of like crazy experiences, especially as a kid, and I don't really know how to chalk it up to it. You know what I mean? Because I've seen some ghosts. I'm almost positive that I've seen that.
Yeah.
Definitely have astral projected. Definitely have, at least in my mind. Like, I'm not saying it's a real thing. Like, listeners, I'm not all in on the woo,
I am.
but
You
yeah,
got all
I
the
mean, it
ability
very
and I got all the belief.
well. You got to have a balance, right?
Yes, yeah.
We gotta have a balance
Because you
here,
saw
okay?
that like demon lady too, right?
Dude, that shit freaked me the fuck out,
Yeah.
and dude, I can still see that shit so fucking vividly. Man, see, and that's the thing. There are things that have happened to me, like, where I don't remember, like, details, but the things that I remember the most detail about were some of the, like, either traumatic or, like, unbelievably crazy, and when I say unbelievably crazy, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, like, it could be, like, an unbelievably crazy good thing. That's what I remember all the details about, and I feel like me being 35 and remembering astral projecting like that so vividly,
Right.
I don't feel like I was dreaming. There's I don't know, man. But I also, whenever I try to look this stuff up, I immediately get pissed off at all the stupid YouTube
Yeah.
bullshit that I see.
Right.
Because then I'm like, okay, well, this is fucking stupid. And then I'm sitting there second guessing myself. I'm like, man, did I really fucking do that? Or am I just like, I don't know. Did my brain give me some extra DMT that night before I went to sleep and
A
I was just
7-year-old.
tripping balls in the bed? Yeah, just a 7-year-old on some psychedelic.
No, I think there's
Man,
something to it. I think because it helps that you're so rational, but you still experience these things. So you can make it less annoying when people describe what's happening.
I think so. Sarah and listeners, who knows? Maybe I'm gonna go on this WikiHow and maybe I'm gonna try to astral project, and I'm gonna come back next episode and be like, Sarah, you will not fucking believe this shit.
Yeah.
Checked it out.
I think you should practice, but maybe it's a little too late though. Sometimes because you're so open as a kid, it's hard to like get it back.
Well, in the one woo thing that I do believe, and I do believe this wholeheartedly, is the younger kids and the older people in our society are definitely closer to that other side. Whether you believe it in a religious sense or any other whatever way you want to describe it. You didn't exist before you were born and you don't exist after you die. Well, you cannot destroy energy can't be created or destroyed. So I there's something that has to happen before and
Yeah.
after. Now, are we capable of understanding that with our brain? I don't think so. But I feel like there are these little things that happen in individuals' lives that give them these little peeks into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man.
yeah, I don't know. I say I had very vivid dreams. I still have very vivid dreams, but some dreams I do feel like I'm in a different world or something. But that's like
Yeah,
alternate universe kind of thing or something. I don't think that's astral projection because I don't see myself. Well,
sure.
actually, all my dreams I do see myself though in my dreams.
Don't see. Don't be saying I got all the abilities. You got it.
Well, yeah, I guess. No, I feel like I'm just a camera and I pick someone to be like that's me in the dream, like the main person.
I see. I
But it's
see.
not always like it
Yeah.
doesn't always look like me. It could be anyone.
Okay. So, I got you. I got you. You're just like you're focusing on like a
Yeah,
main
I'm
character
like
of
the
a plot line.
perspective
Okay.
thing, like the camera.
I got
Yeah.
you. Hmm. Well, so that's the weird thing, and I honestly cannot remember the last time I had a dream.
Really? You're too
So that's the
busy
other
or
thing.
tired.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. But no, in like all seriousness, I don't think I've had a dream in decades. Like for real. Like
You cut it off from
I have
yourself.
not, or maybe mom got some crazy lady to suppress it like they did in Insidious, that movie,
Yeah.
and because some crazy cross-dressing, candle-holding witch man was trying to get me or whatever
Yeah,
the
maybe. I dream almost every night.
do you?
Yeah, I just dreamed last night. I don't remember
What?
now what it was. I'd have to think, but I dream almost every single night.
Huh,
So, and some of them are very vivid.
it's wild.
Yeah, I've been on different
Why? Next time
planets
you
in my dreams. I mean, I don't, not
yeah?
to say that they're real planet. No, it's like a pseudo Earth,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, I
but
see what
it's
you're
not
saying.
Earth. Well, I don't know if it exists or
Right,
whatever.
right,
Yeah.
it very well could be. You projected your consciousness across the universe, and you went to, some distant
Yeah,
world.
maybe. I lived there for like 2 years in my dream.
Shit.
Not like, I mean, I could tell time was passing. You know, like where there's like jumps. Like it's not like I lived for 2 years in my dream. That would be, I mean, there are
I was
stories
about to
like
say,
that
hold
where people say they get
there
married,
are
have kids, and then they wake up and it's all gone or they were in a coma or something. That would be
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
see, that's what I'm saying, though, with, like, kinda how we started this off about how we don't really know a whole lot about consciousness, we don't really know what it really means. Like, we have a word to describe our thought process and the way our mind works, but it's just really a word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. And when you hear stories like these and you hear about astral projection and you go on WikiHow and try to figure out how to astral project, and then you hear about near death experiences and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm super inclined to kind of believe in this sort of thing. What exactly it means, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't think we're capable of understanding what it means with our current understanding of reality. I just think it's like I said earlier, I think it's just stuff that we get to like peek into and we get to kind of see little snippets
Yeah.
of it, you know.
And
So,
then we wonder about
I mean,
it
who
the
knows?
rest of our
Because
lives.
right, yeah, and I mean, it could be something if we wanted to be a little rational. It could be something as we've talked about this before of like seeing snippets of like four-dimensional places or beings or whatever, like we wouldn't really understand what that
Yeah.
is. We wouldn't understand how to even really perceive it. We would see something, but it wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Be like, what the hell is
So
that?
that yeah, and that could be part of it where, you astral project and you are technically in the fourth dimension, but you're not capable of like understanding it. So you still see like normal things, but instead of only being able to go left, right, up, down. Now I can go anywhere,
Yeah.
within that 4D plane of not only, length, width, height, and, you know, I can now travel across like different vasts of time, or I could go across different planes of existence. I don't know. It's, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting too weird. I feel like I haven't taken any extracurriculars for this conversation either. So, I mean,
Well, we'll do an update.
we'll do an update. But listeners, I think that's probably gonna do it for today. Like I said, I kind of wanted to talk about astral projection just because I've experienced it. I want to do some research into it, figure out what other people thought about it, and seeing stuff like this where it's been a very prevalent thing throughout pretty much all written history. I feel like there's something to
Yeah.
it. Now, what there is, like I said, I'm not sure. But what do you guys think? Let us know. Anywhere you see any posts like this, comment down below with your astral projection story. I would love, love, love to hear about any experiences that you guys have had. Or if you just think I'm full of shit, then I would love to hear that too. I will take all the good, bad, and different comments. We love them, don't we, Sarah?
Yes. Yeah, we'll read them. We could read them on an episode.
Yeah, we could dude, I cannot wait till we get mean comments.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Or their
I
own
love them.
stories
Love
about
them.
ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, Yeah, but if you guys have any stories on astral projection that happened to you, I would love to hear them. We could make a whole episode based off of that, and we can give you our opinion on it. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool. That would be pretty cool. So, but as always, check us out on any social media. Like I said, interact with this, like, comment, share, all the good stuff you guys already know how to do. And as
Remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching. See you next time on The Paranoid Perspective.